So we got two Belichicks at the podium today in Chapel Hill. You got Bill, the head coach, and his son, Steve, the defensive coordinator. Now, the first game of the season is not too far off, and this is the first time that we're actually hearing from Steve Belichick. Ashley Rowe tagged along with WRAL investigative sports reporter Brian Murphy to learn more about the relationship between the father and son and coaches, colleagues, as they take Murph's Turph on the road.
All right, Murph, I wanted to take Murph's Turf on the road. I wanted to tag along with you. Obviously, we've got the season starting up, and this is a big deal with Bill Belichick, but not just Bill. This is all in the family.
Yeah, his son, Steve Belichick, is the defensive coordinator at UNC, and this is the first time that we got a chance to talk to him, and striking how much they sound the same.
A lot of new faces, a lot of evaluation, just trying to figure out who can do what. Putting a lot of work in the spring, putting a lot of work in the summer.
Not just in the way that they speak, their tone, everything. What were some of the key takeaways for you?
You know, I was really interested that Steve Belichick talked about he wasn't necessarily going to come to UNC, that it was a tough decision for him to leave Washington after one season to come with his dad, but you got the sense of how much he enjoys working with his dad and working with his brother, Brian, who's also on the staff.
And it was interesting to also hear about their upbringing, you know, and getting into this whole field.
Yeah, I mean, coaching, like pretty much anything now, you know, is a family business. And Bill's dad was a college coach and college scout for 50 years. Bill's been a professional coach for 50 years, and now his sons have grown up in the game. They were talking about at 11 and 12, they're ball boys. They're sitting in on meetings with the Patriots and with some of the other teams that he coached with. And, you know, you become indoctrinated into the game. Steve Belichick had an interesting quote. He said, "My mom told me that I could do something better with my life." And then he said, he joked that maybe now I'm realizing there was something better I could do with my life.
You know, we've been talking about how much they sound alike and the things that they were saying. I want you to be able to hear from them yourself.
You know, I learned a lot from being around my dad. A lot of it was just from like osmosis. You know, it's not like instruction. You just live it and you hear things and you start to put it together and things like that, so forth. And I'm sure some of that was true for them. You know, I try and, you know, take a lot from my dad. He's definitely my mentor, my idol. You know, I look up to him in more ways than just football. You know, I'm not him. My brother's not him. Me and my brother aren't the same. So, yeah, it just is what it is.
Murph, I thought it was really interesting also to hear him talk just so, with such reverence about his dad as well.
Yeah, I mean, he had that one liner about, I don't think he's that cool, when I asked him about, you know, all the attention that his dad's gotten over the last 9 months or so. But yeah, you could tell that he really looks up to his dad, not just as a football coach, but as a father as well. And you forget, you know, they're trying to win football games, but there's also a father-son relationship. And in this case, there's two father-son relationships, plus a brother-brother relationship. So
no kidding.
It's a lot of family ties here. Mike Lombardi, the GM, his son is also the quarterback's coach. So there are a lot of ties on the staff.
But this isn't their first time working together.
Right. They worked in New England together, and obviously they had a lot of success in New England when Bill Belichick was the head coach there. So not a new thing. I thought it was interesting to hear the players say they're similar in some ways, but different in others. We've heard a lot about Bill Belichick's sense of humor. Got a sense today from a couple of players about Steve Belichick's sense of humor, and I think they're equally telling jokes, but it sounds like Steve's might be a little more edgy.
All right, Murph, appreciate it.